remember sitting there one time and I elbow dropped my sister, and I got in trouble. You can't elbow drop your sister apparently. But it was a good one. I mean, I had to fly. I hurt myself too.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of a given. I feel like if you're gonna elbow drop somebody, your sister's usually not the first one that you think of.
If you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen, David.
We are back at it again to finish our discussion on Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom. And we left off last time, Austin, with talking about what we were excited about and what we thought, the interesting things that we thought about Jurassic World 1 and how they correlated to what the actual movie came out to be. And one of the things, we're just going to jump right in there, because why not? Dinosaurs don't hold back. Why should we?
Right.
Roar!
It's terrible.
It was bad.
I feel like that's a terrible.
Yeah,
roar.
it wasn't good. When I was a kid, I used to do an inward roar.
It's not. Oh wait, what?
Where you'd plug your nose. You're like,
oh,
that was a thing that I did when I was a kid.
I thought you said an inward roar, and I'm like, hold on, this is not that kind of podcast. What are you talking about? What are you?
Well, either way,
But I appreciate it, yes.
If you're listening to this podcast and you haven't listened to part 1, you're going to want to go back and check it out, because it's 43 minutes of some of the most intriguing conversation about Jurassic Park that you've ever heard, and it leads straight into this one, so don't miss that one out. Go listen, come right back. We are not going anywhere. All right? Ready? Giving you a moment to go back and listen, and we're in. Okay, so Jurassic World 2 is coming out June 22nd this year. Just a couple short months away. And there's not a whole lot we know about it, right? We talked in our last part of this episode, we talked about how the general synopsis is that they go in to try to rescue the dinosaurs from a natural catastrophe, volcano of some sort, and that whenever they come back, they happen upon some sort of conspiracy, right? And we talked about all the ramifications and thoughts that we had about that. But based on what we know and have experienced with Jurassic World 1 and how we thought a bunch of stuff and expected a bunch of stuff, and then it came out and was an amazing movie, but it was very, very little of what we expected to see.
Right.
We can pretty much guarantee that that's going to be the same case here. They like to surprise us. They don't want to just give us whatever we want.
Correct.
They want to do their best to give us what we want in a way that we don't expect. Right? That's the filmmaking industry.
Correct.
Right. So there's a couple of things that my hopes, I guess you could say, for Jurassic World 2. And if you watch the trailer, there are parts of it that really bear this out. Right. But the first thing I really, really want to see, and I don't want it to change the rating status. I don't want it to go into an R rating. I don't want it to go out of the PG-13. I think it's comfortable and what we all expect and hope it to be in a PG-13, which they can do a lot of scariness and a lot of...
Right. This isn't, you don't need to be like Deadpool. You don't need to go for an R rating. You can easily get your point across and get the action and the excitement and the scariness while maintaining that PG-13 rating.
Yes, and I think they're going to do a good job. Either way, whatever happens with the film, I'm excited to see it, and I'm expecting good things from it. But one of the things that I really hope is that they capitalize upon the scariness that I've already seen in the trailer. Now, if you haven't seen the trailer, I highly recommend it. Just go on the YouTube, type in Jurassic World 2 trailer, and it's the first one that comes up. And there are a couple of scenes in there that are absolutely scary as mess. And I'm just like the whole scene when what we assume is the Indoraptor, which is a new dinosaur that we haven't seen yet, is like crawling over this bed toward. You only see just see a little bit, but it's crawling over this bed toward this little girl, and it reaches its clawed hand out. Oh, scary! Oh my goodness! Which pays really cool homage to the first Jurassic Park with the whole kitchen scene. It's very similar, but even scarier because the only thing she's hiding behind is a blanket.
It's not a good
Blankets can protect you from a lot, but not from a dinosaur.
Yeah, correct.
So I hope that it's scarier. I hope it's scarier. I know that there are probably people out there, you may be one of them, that are anticipating and hoping that it just kind of maintains the level of intensity.
I'm more interested in the intensity aspect of it. I mean, you want those moments that kind of, a couple jumps is great, but I think that you don't want to overdo it.
Oh yeah, we're not talking like It, scary like It was, which I didn't see, but have you seen it?
Oh boy.
I'm not into that kind of film. I'm not into the scary movies.
I'm not either. I remember seeing it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
there is a movie though out that's either no, it's not out yet. It comes out in just a couple of days, called A Quiet Place.
Oh, John Krasinski.
Krasinski directed, acted, and his wife was in it with him, which made it even more authentic and real feeling, from what I understand. And I've heard a lot of really good reviews.
It looks really good.
It's a creature feature, though.
Right.
It's a scary monster movie, but it's, from what I hear, is horrifyingly scary. And that kind of intensity and that kind of scariness is what I really hope they kind of pull out.
I'm okay with the scary. I don't want them to try to force it. We have to make this scary.
Right.
I want them like that. Maybe maintain is the right word, I guess. But they can add to it, but don't try to force the scary because then you ruin the
you kind of
the
it
fear.
sets itself aside as its own separate thing.
Right, I'm more interested. I'm more interested in seeing fear. I want it to produce fear, not produce. Try to force scary. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think though that the level of scariness, if it maintains or capitalizes on the level of scariness that they've shown in the trailer, I think that they've earned that.
Right.
Because the way that they built it up. The way the whole franchise is built up, from the first movie all the way through the third, and then when they not rebooted, but when they kind of brought it back again with Jurassic World 1, and they kind of built that scariness and that intensity back out of it, I feel like they've earned their right to make it a little bit scarier than Jurassic World 1, which I'm excited for. I think it's going to be great. I'm really pumped about it. One other thing that I think is really cool that I hope that they do is resolution on some storylines, resolution on a couple of different things. We talked in our last episode, about the story arc or the story threads that they've never really completed. For example, the Dennis Nedry, when he meets Dotson, we got Dotson here. When he meets Dotson and he sells him, or he's being paid to sell him those, the research, the embryos or the dinosaurs and things like that. They never really went any further with that. They just dropped that thread right there. And I really hope that they tie those back in. I think that's going to be really cool if they do that. And the resolution, which, the way that they brought Henry Wu back in Jurassic World 1, and they kind of completely changed the trajectory of a forgettable character, because he was not all that prominent. He wasn't that memorable in the first movie, right? But then they bring him back in Jurassic World, and it's like they changed the entire outlook of this one character, and you're like, wait a second. And it makes you go back and re-examine his character from the first film, and you're just like, this is really cool. I really like that. I hope that they come to a resolution, because to see him come in and be the pompous, arrogant jerk that he was in Jurassic World, in those few scenes that he was in, really makes you want to see him get eaten by a dinosaur. Because, man, that guy it's like he was totally cool in Jurassic Park 1. But in Jurassic World, man,
not cool,
he was hair-raisingly annoying, right? So I hope that they do bring some resolution to different things like that. And I know that there's going to be a third one. I know that the story, at least right now, is that they're setting up for a third film. I don't know if the franchise will continue to build upon that. But, if we can expect anything, having the history of watching movies that come out in triplicate or in threes, if there's anything we can expect, it's that it's going to end on a cliffhanger. Right. It's going to end where we don't want it to end. Right. When for example, you look at all three of the Lord of the Rings movies, except for the third one. Return of the King ended the way you wanted it to end. Right. It ended and ended finally. But when you look at Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers, they ended on such huge cliffhangers, and I remember watching those as they came out and thinking, man, I have to wait 2 more years to see the rest of this story? And it was really ticked me off. But anyway, So I do hope they bring some resolution. I'm not 100% sure that we'll get all the resolution that we want. Probably not. But I do hope that they do bring some resolution and at least lead the story in a direction where resolution can be had.
And I think, I have my theories for what I think Fallen Kingdom will be.
Yeah.
I think I think that what I'm expecting for Fallen Kingdom sets up the third one as a like I said, kind of button up the story.
Jurassic Planet.
Yeah. Well. See my theory from the beginning. Well, when I first heard the title of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, when I heard Fallen Kingdom, my original expectation for the movie was, okay, so I think in this movie the dinosaurs are going to break out probably at the end of the movie. Somehow they're going to escape the island or whatever.
It's going to end with a "What have we done?"
Right, exactly. The dinosaurs will somehow escape there. So then in this third one, the job's going to be to exterminate the dinosaurs. In a sense, somehow in the second one is going to end with the dinosaurs escaping the island, and going to mainland areas, and then so the third one will open up with a T-Rex, tearing up like New York City or whatever. I think that's how it's gonna. I honestly believe that's what they're setting up for.
Unless, of course, they do another fast forward to kind of like what they did with. Do you remember whenever they came out with? I think it was it Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
I never saw
it. Was that the second one? I think it was called. No, it was Rise, and then I don't remember. Anyway, the second movie of the Planet of the Apes, the new trilogy.
That was Rise. Second one was Rise.
So Rise started with this exhibition in the credit sequence that explained that so many years have passed.
Right.
And that this drug that made these apes smart created this apocalyptic kind of wave of death for the humans, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's possible. I hope they don't do it because it's a little trite.
Right, exactly.
I feel like it's possible that at the end of Jurassic World 2, they could, or the beginning of Jurassic World 3, I guess I should say, that they could pull something like that out of the hat and make it be one of those things where it's like 15 years later or whatever. Which, it could work if they do it right. I hope that they don't. I hope they are a little more creative than that. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. My question is, the first Jurassic World movie was reminiscent in parts of Jurassic Park 1. It paid homage.
Right.
But there were a couple of things that were very similar.
Yeah, right. It shows this theme park idea, this happy place, and then everything
just kind of the proverbial poop hits the fan, right? And what was really cool that it just occurred to me, there were a number of different scenes in Jurassic World that were derivatives from the original book that they didn't actually use in the film. And so I'm wondering will they continue that trend of making, like with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, will they make it more of a Jurassic Park Lost World contemporary? Mm-hmm. Will it create, because we already see a similarity in that they're trying to take dinosaurs off the island now for different motives according to the trailer, but you gotta know, taking dinosaurs to a heavily populated urban area or whatever their plan is,
even if they're contained, it's not going to work out so well.
Yeah, it's not historically worked well. And so I'm wondering if it's going to be dinos unleashed in an urban setting.
Like I said, I think I think Fallen Kingdom. You're going to see try to contain on the island, and then something's going to happen. Something will happen,
right?
And then and which sets up interesting for the third one because I think that if you do the third one in like quote unquote modern America, that could be really, really, really well. One of two things: it'll be really, really well done, or hot garbage.
Yeah,
it'll be one of two things.
End up like Sharknado.
Right. That's the thing. There won't be middle ground. It's going to be. It would be either great or terrible. And
I think that sci-fi channel,
you're right.
TV
you got
movie.
Laser guns. I think that's what they're
dinosaurs in space.
I think that's what they want to accomplish. Is they want to accomplish a situation where you've got because other than the end of the first Jurassic Park 2, towards the end of the first Jurassic Park 2, there was never a situation where there's a dinosaur in the mainland. It was never tried that well.
Yeah, they never really fleshed that possibility out, and everybody's been asking the question, right. What happens if
Jurassic Park? Right, in Jurassic Park 2, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
Yeah, and it was only the last 15 minutes of the film.
But it was really well done.
Yeah, it was really cool, really intriguing. So another thing is, like we talked about in the last episode, the original thought I had with Jurassic World 1 was an apocalyptic story. A story of what has happened because these animals are not contained.
Right.
Right? Because I think it's the end of Jurassic Park 2 or 3. I can't remember which one it is, but one of the two of them shows pterodactyls flying off of the island, not contained. Mm-hmm. Right? And so it kind of begs the question, what happened? And so one of the things that I immediately thought whenever I heard Jurassic World was post-apocalyptic. Right. These dinosaurs had gotten off on the mainland, and somehow, and it didn't end up being that way. But
you wanted it to be, kind of, in a sense. You almost kind of wanted that.
Yeah, to see what the universe would evolve into with these.
Right, and see, that's why I think the title of Jurassic World. I think because I think they're leading up to that. I honestly believe that.
And I think what's one of the interesting things, and if showrunners, I think who was it that was the director, Colin Trevorrow. Yeah. Colin, if you're listening, I have a really cool idea that you should definitely pick up on, that I think you would really enjoy, and that the big fans of Jurassic Park would enjoy. In the first movie, Laura Dern's character, Dr. Sattler, had a statement that you could definitely play on, which may be the plan, and if it is, continue to do what you're doing. But if it's not the plan, make it the plan. And what I'd like to do is actually pull up and play for you the clip that has the audio that I'm talking about. Listen to this. Listen to what Dr. Sattler says here.
God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth.
So, as you can see, 20 plus years ago, Laura Dern's character haplessly mentions this apocalyptic possibility. Granted, it was spurned on by Ian Malcolm, and he is returning to the franchise with Jurassic World 2. So, my question is, will Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom lead somehow to this post-apocalyptic future? Whether it's women inheriting the earth, probably unlikely. But will it lead to this post-apocalyptic future that Dr. Sattler haplessly mentioned in Jurassic Park 1? That would be a super, super cool story arc, or take that and create a storyline that creates that moment when she says that into a premonitory type moment, which I think would be really, really cool. So, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I was just looking. I did not realize until you just now said that Jeff Goldblum was coming back for this movie. I must have missed that.
Yeah, he's reprising his role. He's actually reprising his role in a video game that they're coming out this week.
Which makes me really excited because honestly, I don't know that I've ever seen a movie I didn't like Jeff Goldblum. I don't think I've seen a movie that Jeff Goldblum did not make the movie better.
It just depends on how much you like the movies he's in, I guess. I've never seen a movie that I didn't think I liked, other than The Fly, which was it was great, but it was just gross.
I remember hearing, he's in Ragnarok. And
he made it. It was great.
Man, it was phenomenal. It was so good.
Awesome.
It was so good. He stole the movie.
Not to do a shameless Marvel plug right there.
No, but I mean, he stole the movie. You know, if you look at his IMDb, there really isn't a movie that he was in that he didn't really kill it in.
Yeah, and even movies that were critically not well received. For example, Independence Day: Resurgence. That wasn't critically well received. I liked it just because I just liked it. But even that movie was made better for his being in it. just because he created something that grounded the audience to the original film, which was great. Bill Pullman did the same thing, but Bill Pullman's just kind of like a sack of wet flour.
He is.
He's just kind of a dud. He was much better, I think. His role in Resurgence, I thought, was much more dynamic than his role in the original. Doesn't mean that it's a better movie, because it's not, but I did like... It does kind of show that his acting chops have increased a little bit, or maybe he had a better coach. I don't know. But, so we've got some hopes. I'm sure you, the listener, have hopes for Jurassic World 2 and 3. So if you do, comment those below. We'd love to hear them, and we may talk about them in a future episode. So moving on, I got a couple of questions I'd like to pose to you.
Please. I love questions.
My dear compatriot. First things first, if you, and I've got my own answers for these, which I'll discuss in a second. If you were to be killed by a dinosaur, which one would you be most afraid to die?
The spitting one, because that burns. The spitty guy.
The spitty one? The one with the goop, the Dennis Nedry.
Yeah, he has like the
fin, yeah.
And he hisses at you.
He spits the
like
coal tar in your face.
Honestly, if I'm gonna go by dinosaur, let it be a T-Rex and just like bite my head off, whatever. Like make it quick.
I don't think it would quite work that way.
I don't care. That works in my head. I don't want to get like I don't want the goop like to burn me and then like I slowly die in pain. I don't want that to me. That or something smaller that would just like slowly like eat away at you.
Yeah,
like a really strong dog,
like a compy, like a series of compies coming in and just gnawing.
Yeah, they're terrible. That's a terrible way to go.
Chewing bits of your body off.
Those are the two worst.
I disagree. Not because you're wrong, but because you're wrong.
Okay?
Because the worst is the Velociraptor. And I'll explain why. Number one, he's not gigantic, and he can't just swallow you whole, which I don't know that would be better. Because if you get swallowed whole, for example, Jurassic World 1, right? The babysitter girl gets picked up by a pterodactyl, and then her and the pterodactyl get completely swallowed whole by the Mosasaurus, right? She didn't die immediately. You have to know that.
Right. She
slid down the throat of that dinosaur and ended up in the stomach acid and probably rotted before she died. Horrifying. But if we're taking that out of the equation, the Velociraptor, and the reason why is because of the description of how they would hunt and kill you by the one and only Dr. Alan Grant from Jurassic Park 1. And what he explained is that they hunt you in a pack like wolves, but they don't kill you. They will jump on you, they will immobilize you in some way, and they'll take their big claw on their foot and they'll split you open and eat you from the inside out while you're still alive.
Yeah. Side note, kids, don't bite kangaroos to do the same thing. Yeah. Kangaroos will cut you open.
Sorry we didn't give more of a disclaimer on that discussion because probably...
Surprise!
Yeah.
If your kids are listening...
Hopefully...
Kids, if you're listening, I probably... Kangaroos are so much fun.
They're kind of not. And they're kind of gross, and they kind of can kill you. And they can punch harder than a wrestler.
But the kangaroo in your bedroom that you play with, he's fine. He's okay.
Are you talking about your own daughter? She's not old enough to understand what's happening here. And by the time she is, she'll understand this conversation.
Speaking of family... a month ago on the podcast, we discussed that I told my wife there was a bet that, or it wasn't a bet, but I told the listeners, our loved listeners, that if my wife mentions this podcast, I give her a 20-minute foot rub. Guess who didn't give her a 20? She still got a foot rub, like several foot rubs throughout the week, but still.
Who proved that they didn't listen to the podcast? Yeah. Your wife.
But I love my wife to death, so she doesn't have to listen to this podcast, but you do, because
you are a listener and you like what we talk about and enjoy us talking about it. Okay, so question number 2.
That's you, Jeff. Thank you.
Jeff? Oh, Goldblum?
No. There's a guy Jeff at work who listens to our podcast.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, you giving Jeff a shout out?
Yeah.
Well, since we're doing shout outs, shout out to Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
I was going to shout out something else and I forgot what I was going to do. Okay, so question number 2. If there was an animal, any animal, through all of the history of the earth, the world, existence, biology, whatever you want to say, that you could bring back, what would it be?
Like, are you talking like a totally extinct animal?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be extinct necessarily, but assuming, let's say we live in a world in 1,000 years where there are no more animals.
Dogs. The answer is dogs, and if you say not dogs, you're wrong.
I mean, you can't you can't broaden it that much. You have to pick one.
A golden retriever or golden lab. Labs are retriever
Lassie,
dogs. Retriever dogs.
What was the dog from Where the Red Fern Grows? That was Lassie, wasn't it? No, it wasn't.
No, Lassie was a border collie.
Oh, I can't remember.
No, listen. Everyone that knows me knows that I love all the dogs. Like, I love all the dogs.
Every one of the dogs.
I love all the dogs. But I to this day believe that labs are the most loyal and the most for if there's a world where there's only one kind of dog that could be that could help ward off intruders. That could help on farms, that could help around children, that could help be a service dog. Labrador retrievers would be the best option for dogs.
What you're saying is that Labrador retrievers are the quintessential man's best friend.
Yes,
quote unquote.
They are.
Okay, I understand. If I were to pick any animal, and I'm going to cheat on this question a little bit, I would pick the woolly mammoth, and I would shrink it. Ooh. And make it a household pet.
Like a pocket woolly.
Like a pocket woolly.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Woolly the pocket mammoth.
Haley, my wife had a dream one time that she had I won't say it was like a sloth. No. She had a sugar glider. She, for some reason, bought a sugar glider. I don't know why, but it hung out in her pocket and she just fed it Cheez-Its. This to this day is my favorite dream she's ever told me about. Is her pocket glider or sugar glider. Hung out in her pocket that she'd feed Cheez-Its. It's the greatest. Sugar gliders are awesome. All
I'm saying is, if I were a sugar glider hanging out in a pocket being fed Cheez-Its all day,
it'd be the best life in the world.
Yeah, it would. Man, Cheez-Its are the bomb.
Sign me up.
You ain't kidding. I think I might go buy some Cheez-Its as we get done recording this episode.
Sign me up.
So, so that's very clear. A pocket woolly mammoth.
And golden retriever.
And a golden
Labrador retriever.
Labrador retriever. Okay, so last question, and we're getting right near the end of this week's episode. It's a little shorter, but we think you can handle it. Last question, and this might take a little while to answer because it's very delicate.
I like that. See, the problem with me delicate questions is that I'm I just smash you. I'm like, oh, I'm here. It's like I'm the Kool-Aid man.
It's it's not delicate in that the subject matter is delicate. It's delicate because if you say the wrong thing, it could come back to bite you.
Oh, good.
So it's more delicate for you than it is for the listener.
Oh, darn.
So the question is, you're marooned on an island with dinosaurs.
Okay.
What 3 objects and 1 friend do you take with you to survive?
Ooh, that's
and let me help you and just take wives and children out of the equation.
Listen. I wouldn't put my wife through that danger anyway, so she wouldn't be stuck with me.
Okay.
I love her too much to let her get eaten by dinosaurs.
And you have to think about it this way too: is what friend do you have that would be the most beneficial to you surviving?
I would bring my friend Skippy because he has a lot of guns. And
is that the Skippy? I know Skippy.
Yes, you know Skippy.
Okay.
So I would bring Skippy. He has
because
a lot
of his guns.
Yeah,
but that doesn't necessarily mean that he will bring his guns.
Man,
between the two of you,
between
the two of you, you only have 3 objects.
You're right.
To survive.
Man, I don't know. So you want to get somebody like that you could count on?
Yeah.
Like Chris Pratt.
Does he count as a friend? You haven't actually met the guy.
He already fought off dinosaurs.
That's fair.
So
with a rubber gun, I saw a picture of him bending the gun.
I would take Chris Pratt.
Okay.
With me. Since he's already experienced in fighting up dinosaurs.
At least you'd have an endless supply of curse words.
Oh, I love Chris Pratt.
And he got a foul mouth, that guy, though.
Yeah, but he's the best.
Not in his movies, but just in real life.
Yeah,
we hung out once.
He tells funny stories.
We had cupcakes.
I saw some videos on the internet.
And
but anyway, I would say probably Chris Pratt. Because, honestly, I'm not.
Yeah.
A real friend. That's kind of a hard question because you got to think about which one of your friend would you trust enough to help you survive.
Yeah.
But also...
And not want to kill yourself.
Right. Well, right. You want to get a friend that's, normal.
Yeah.
At least... So when it comes to items, I would want at least a gun with unlimited ammo. Okay?
Well, you cannot have unlimited... You have 1 magazine of whatever gun you take, if you take a gun. It's another rule.
All right, I want a tank.
A tank. Hey, look, that's a great option because it's multifaceted. You got multiple weapons on that tank.
Plus you got
that are mounted, so they count.
And it can drive.
It can drive. for a limited distance because you don't have unlimited fuel.
Right. I want.
It's safe.
Right.
Dinosaur's not going to eat through a tank.
I want a fully loaded. Well, strong enough bite. I want a fully loaded tank. Okay, so my
full tank of gas.
A tank,
fully loaded on all the weapons.
Right.
And easily maneuverable with one person.
Right, and that's one item.
Okay.
So there's one item. So I have a tank.
Okay.
I would have. You gotta have food. Okay.
I mean, you're on a deserted island, not a barren island.
Okay.
You can hunt for food. You can
Right,
forage.
okay.
You can also kill dinosaurs. I heard dinosaurs taste like alligator, which tastes like chicken, which tastes like turkey.
Alligators taste like a mixture of like Long and Silver's like chicken and fish. Just like somebody got like a blender, like smush it all together. That's what it tastes like. I like it. That's good.
So I got tuna of the sea, chicken of the sea.
I've got a tank. Honestly, I want a propane blowtorch.
Okay.
That way
you're limited on fuel, though.
Right. I've got one full handheld butane torch tank.
Okay.
That helps me if I need to start a fire for warmth, or if I need to light a torch to ward off dinosaurs. So I've got that. Okay. So my 2 items right there. My third thing that I would take, honestly, is a first aid kit.
That's fair.
I want a first aid kit in case something were to happen. Now that first aid kit includes medicines, etc. Also, it would include Benadryl because I would get the sneezies out there.
Okay. So what one friend? You've got your 3 items. You got your tank, your propane, butane, whatever blowtorch, and your first aid kit.
And I would say, like for my friend, I would probably honestly. There's a guy that I work with whose name is Jeremy. He is a bodybuilder, so he's super strong. So I would probably take him because I would trust him to at least be strong enough to.
Oh, the bald guy?
Yeah.
Does he listen to our podcast?
I don't think so.
You should tell him about this podcast so he can listen.
But I would. He's strong, so He
is he's very large.
I'm like 6'1", 180, and it's really mostly
T-shirt.
It's not. I have no muscles.
The bulk of your body weight comes from your T-shirt.
I'm scrappy when it comes to fighting, but I'm not really a strong guy.
Okay.
So it would help to have the help.
Okay, so my list is a hatchet. My objects are a hatchet.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's say 300 feet of rope.
That's good.
Good, strong climbing rope.
That's smart.
And I like your idea of a butane torch. So, let's see. Yeah, probably would do. Yeah, just keep it that way. And I would choose as my compatriot on the island, my friend who I would go up in arms with against the dinosaurs and surviving and finding a way off the island, would be my friend Bill. And I'll tell you why. Not because he's the most resourceful and not because he's the strongest or the most reliable to fight off dinosaurs, but because at least we'll have a good time.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna die, I may as well die laughing.
Hey, that's right. And Bill, you have to know Bill to understand why he would be that choice. And we're going to have him on the podcast here in a few weeks, probably. So you guys will get to meet him. You get to listen to him a little bit. You'll get to meet him probably via video call of some sort. But I think that will wrap up this month's episode, Jurassic World episode Part 2.
Part 2.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being here with us and going through this episode and being as excited as we are about Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, and the entirety of the franchise, and just sitting and listening to us talk about our crazy ideas about what the world would be like if dinosaurs actually existed.
It's a beautiful thing, really, when you think about it.
Beautiful is
living in harmony.
It's not exactly what I'd call harmony.
Bloody savagery harmony.
They're kind of trying to kill us the whole time.
No, I mean, maybe they're domesticated. Maybe they're like domesticated velociraptors that are like, dogs were originally wild.
That's fair. Hey, what's interesting, though, is we kind of do live in a world with dinosaurs, but it's all dogs and cats, and they're always trying to kill us. I don't know about dogs. Dogs are not quite smart enough to want to murder us all the time. But cats, you can look in the eye of a cat and you can see it's deceitful. I want to murder you.
It's plotting your death. I've always said that I would like to domesticate a coyote or a wolf.
Oh yeah.
Or a fox. Really a fox. Like I think foxes are cool because they do that little thing with they jump in the air and they pounce on stuff. It's like,
and then you would be able to unequivocally say what the fox says. No, stop.